In this video, I'm going to share the key growth levers that you can apply to your e-commerce brand to scale to 7 figures, 8 figures, and beyond. And we're going to be using an example of this brand, Solar Stove. They're actually a publicly traded company with their parent brand, Solar Brands. And this company does over $300 million every single year. And before we dive into the video, just some quick proof to show that I'm qualified to speak on the topic of growing e-commerce brands. With one of our clients last 12 months, just under $9 million in revenue. If you're a new viewer here, my name is Jordan Hayes. I run a marketing company. We help e-commerce brands scale their revenue and profit. And we do that through multiple different ways, both customer acquisition and customer retention, done for you services. Customer acquisition side, we're focusing on media buying, ad creative, CRO, landing pages, offer structures. And on the retention marketing side, we're focused around LTV, increasing that mainly through email and SMS marketing. So with that said, let's get straight into it. Now, the reason why I wanted to share this brand, Solar Stove, and use this as an example to show you how to scale e-commerce brands nowadays is because they're doing a lot of things really well, right? Of course, they're generating $300 million plus every single year in revenue, but they're also doing a lot of different things in order to do that. So first of all, what I wanted to cover is the product strategy. The product strategy mainly for them started with just one hero product. They sold this fire pit, and it was very good timing because it was just after COVID, where actually they've been around for a long time, but their hero product, the fire pit, started to pick up around COVID, and it really started to take off, and the brand started to gain a lot of organic traction as well through their Instagram, which we're also going to be looking at in just a moment. So they started with their hero product, and then they started launching new products within the same theme. So even though they started with just a fire pit, right, which is their main hero product, they sell these fire pits, and this as I mentioned took off really well. They started to expand into other products around the theme of gathering, but also around fire as well, right? So they launched this pizza oven, which was a huge success because I believe they probably saw the trends from other brands like this one, Uni, which again, around COVID and even after COVID, where people started to spend more time in the backyards and more time just with each other, like spending time together as a family, with friends, whatever. They started to, buy these pizza ovens because it was a way to, the gathering was based around that, okay? So this was like a great example of product expansion within the same category still, but not sticking, to like fire pits and stoves. They went into this oven, right? And you could say that, they're crossing category there because now they're in cooking products, whereas before they were just in like fire pits and like home and decoration. So you can see how when you're expanding your product expansion, you don't always have to keep it like so linear, right? You can cross category as long as it's within the same theme. And what they've done is now they have an ecosystem of fire-based products. And what this means is they're maximizing AOV and LTV, but they're also expanding into different audience segments because, someone may not purchase a stove for the gathering, like a fire pit, but they'd purchase a pizza oven. And maybe what you do is you eventually bring them around to purchasing a stove once they see the product quality. And you can obviously contact them direct mail, email marketing, retargeting ads, whatever it is. So that's the first thing. Next thing, in a similar vein, is upsell and cross-sell strategy, because I want to share this because I think there's a lot of value in here as to how you can apply this to your own e-commerce brand, where you are able to increase average order value. Because one of the key bottlenecks and pain points I see e-commerce brands face when they're trying to scale is the average order value. By the way, if you're a new viewer here, my name is Jordan Hayes. I actually run a marketing agency where we help e-commerce brands scale their revenue profitably. Now, if you're running an e-commerce brand, you're doing over 100K per month in revenue, and you're facing challenges with scale, maybe your ads or your funnel is not working as well as it used to or should be, or even if it's just a lack of time and resource to put into scaling this part of the business, then that's exactly what we help with. So down below this video, there'll be a link to book a call with me. We'll have a conversation about your business, learn more about the challenges, your objectives, and see if there's a fit for us to work together. Worst case scenario, I can provide some insights as we're seeing with our other clients to help you at your current stage of your business. And as I mentioned, this is for brands who are doing at least 100K per month in revenue, and they need help with scaling and obviously want to scale profitably. And in the way in which we help brands scale is we provide services across both customer acquisition and customer retention, done for you services which are completely hands-off. We take care of everything for you. And that includes media buying, CRO, landing pages, ad creative, email marketing, SMS marketing, overall growth strategy, lifetime value optimization, all that stuff, okay? So with that said, let's get back to the video. Okay, now if you have a product like this where the price inherently gives you an average order value that is high, then that's great. But the reality for most brands is that their AOV is low. And if you're not able to get to that $100 mark in AOV, then you're going to face challenges with scaling because the room you have for the customer acquisition cost is going to get squeezed as you begin to increase ad spend. So you want to create more room there. And multiple ways to do that. I'm going to show you how Solar Stove is doing this. So they have accessories to the main product to increase average order value. They have these additional accessories, fire pit surround, shelter, surface. And you can think of like how you can use your hero product and how you can introduce some lower priced accessories into your product mix that you can use as quick and easy upsells. Another thing you can do is you can create these bundles, right? These pre-built bundles, And what they've done is what SolarStove has done is they've had these bundles and they name them after the use case, right? So the Fire Pit Backyard Bundle, the Fire Pit Essential Bundle, right? You can create these pre-built bundles that are almost like starter packs, starter kits. We've gone through different offer structures on my channel before, where this is like a very, very good way to increase average order value, where you bundle things together and you already give it to the customer packaged up as something else. And by naming it, you are helping the customer decide what they should buy, right? If I'm looking for something for my backyard, then definitely, this is like a good option. So that's just one example. And then in terms of the, actually where do you add these upsells and accessories as well, in the cart is a great way to add these upsells, right? So if we go to the cart right here, we can see that in the cart itself, frequently added items, we have accessories, they can add to the cart right here. And that just helps bump up that average order value even further, right? So that's just one great place to have it. You can also have it in the checkout. If using Shopify Plus, you can add checkout and upsells there as well. And as you mentioned, you can introduce customers to your other products through product inserts. So when they buy the product and when they receive the product and the packaging, if you include a physical insert in there, a card or something, which introduces them to other products that you offer, just to I guess raise awareness that you have those products, then that's a great way to introduce them and get them to purchase those products, which allows you to increase that lifetime value as well. Right, emails, retargeting ads, and also great ways to do that. Direct mail is another great strategy. Now, another thing this brand is doing very well is that they have multiple channels. And I've seen this more and more often, where the brands that are able to scale to 9 figures, they're always in, they're not just running direct to consumer. Direct to consumer is just one channel. So SolarStove, yes, they're on direct to consumer as we've seen, but they're also on Amazon, right? Which I think for brands nowadays is a no-brainer. You should be on Amazon, and retail as well. They're in REI, they're multiple different retail outlets across the US and I believe across the world as well. And that is just another way to expand and scale, but also create some defensibility against, single channel strategy. If you're only running through D2C right now, and let's just say you're at the 7-figure range in revenue, that's okay, but start to expand into Amazon first. I think that's the easiest one to expand into, and then start adding retail and start adding wholesale to that as well. So that's just my recommendation, and just going by what I've seen from looking at these brands. You went through Black Rifle Coffee, you went through Liquid Death on my channel before. All these brands are doing the same thing, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they're able to scale because of that. So just going through this again, we've gone through this on my channel before, but the new way to scale an e-commerce brand in 2025 is first of all having top of funnel acquisition sources and multiple of them. Paid ads, organic traffic, influencer marketing partnerships, podcast advertising out of home. I'm going to show you how SolarStove is doing this really, really well. So they built a very good organic social following, and what they've done, as you can see here, they're pushing their pizza oven a lot in recent times. But if you scroll down, you see that they have this partnership with Snoop Dogg. And it's kind of a weird, kind of unlikely partnership, but somehow it works, and the customer base kind of took to it. So you can see Snoop Dogg is featured on a lot of their posts across Instagram, and Snoop Dogg is kind of like a cultural icon. So the partnership works, and they've been able to lean heavier into that by having Warren G, which is another famous like old school rap artist. So a partnership with Snoop Dogg and someone that big is not always accessible to every brand. However, you can start to think about that as you continue to grow. But in the meantime, think about how you can do maybe some gifting that will create more of an organic partnership with maybe mid to large influencers. And this is a prime example of how SolarStove is doing the gifting to influencers. They're finding specific types of people within their market who could use the products and be influential. And they found this guy which does these like tailgate cookouts, and it's a perfect product placement, right? Because the people who are going to buy this are likely they love football, and this guy with the tailgate is a perfect way to place this product and have this featured there as well. So just another example, and I think this is becoming more and more important, is to have this like organic presence, influencer marketing partnerships, but just make sure you do it right. Okay, there's a lot of brands can get burned very easily on influencer marketing. You want to make sure that you don't go crazy on like the amount you're investing, but start to do like a little bit on like a lower level, start to do some product seeding, some gifting, and then see how you can get traction from that. And what happens most of the time is that if you get 1 or 2 people to post about it, it starts to gain traction, it starts to get word of mouth, and other influencer people start to see that, and they start to get turned on to the brand, and may even start buying and posting themselves because it starts to create a movement, right? And that's really the goal here, and that's how you build more of a long-term. It's more of a long-term play. You won't necessarily see the returns on that immediately, but again, it's a long-term play. So that's just one thing: organic traffic, influencer marketing partnerships, as you mentioned. And this is really to expand top of funnel awareness and traffic, because just with paid ads with Meta and Google, you could run those for sure, but you do need to diversify in order to decrease your CPAs, right? Because these other things, even though you don't see the direct ROI, they do help decrease CPA, and they do help increase top of funnel traffic and therefore decrease your CPA on your paid ads as well. So then you want to be driving this traffic to optimize landing pages. When you're doing zero A/B testing on the website, if you have a a high AOV product, I recommend you coming to solarstove.com and looking at their product pages, because they're very well optimized but still very on brand, and they have a lot of visuals and a lot of explainers, which are very, very important, especially if you're selling something high ticket like this. And then finally, you want to do SMS marketing, community word of mouth, direct mail. This is more your increasing LTV. And then just on the side of this is, as you mentioned, launching new products and expanding into new countries, which is exactly what Solar Stove have done and exactly what the other 9-figure brands have gone through on my channel have done as well. And these are some key levers on the side which you can pull to enhance all of this, right? But I would get all of this in first place, get a very structured system and strategy for acquiring and retaining customers in place first, and then you can start launching new products and expanding into new countries to really amplify that as well. So that's it for this video. Hopefully Solar Stove has given you some great ideas that you can apply to your own e-commerce brand to scale to the 8-figure range and beyond. And if you are looking for a partner to help you do that, then there'll be a link below this video to my website. You can book a call. We can have a chat about your business, talk about your current challenges, your objectives, and see if there's a fit for us to come in and help. But with that said, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.